seduced into going to Duxford, where I had been many times, but I was seduced last summer to go to Duxford with the promise that I might get a chance to fly in a Spitfire. And Richard was the person who sent me that invitation. Of course, I should have known better because I've been in business for 35 years and I should know there's no such thing as a free lunch. Looks like it's an expensive dinner. But you are most welcome. And I went there and I saw what was happening with the new airspace centre that's been opened. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Even if you're not interested in aviation, you can't fail to be excited by the history that there is at that place. And by the work that's being done there. So we were delighted, Keith Cameron, who's my co-host here this evening, where are you, Keith? To be able to host this small inaugural dinner. There is plenty of food, plenty of wine, and we don't have too much of a curfew here, at least for this time.
It will be, when it opens later this year, a world-class heritage and visitor leisure attraction. We intend to celebrate the great aviation achievements of the past, of this country and the Commonwealth. And it is our intention to inspire the designers, the engineers and the aircrew of the future. In the same way as I suspect many of us were inspired as youngsters to pursue aviation as our career or indeed as our passionate hobby. And what better example of that than Amy Johnson, who on the 24th of April 1930 landed at Darwin in her gypsy moth known as Jason after 19 days of solo navigation around the world, combating snowstorms, sandstorms and every other adversity along the way. As soon as it announced that it was in the southwest approaches, we had to recall everything, get it on the ground so that again the airfield was sterile for Concorde's arrival. On this particular day, we had one aircraft airborne which we could not trace, flown by the great Abu Khawaja. We had to report to air traffic, but we had no idea where he was, and therefore we weren't quite sure how we were going to get all our aircraft on the ground in time before Trubshaw arrived back with Concorde 002. Trubby said, "Don't worry, we'll hold off until you find him." John Arscott will be pleased to know that he was doing his aeros in the Birmingham control zone. We never operated really from the airfields because our role was to operate from very much forward war sites, things like supermarkets, Marks and Spencer's, sites, things of that nature.
Here we are at Marks and Spencer's corner headquarters, and I had to put the glasses on because I can't see what I'm saying.
Lead singer of the iconic heavy metal band Iron Maiden. Exactly. Perhaps less known is that Bruce is also the first officer for a commercial airline in regularly flies 757s from the UK to destinations around Europe, North Africa and the Middle East. And I am told that you've been quoted as saying, "The further from Earth I am, the happier I become." And apart from his various flying achievements, Bruce is father of 3 children, has sold over 50 million albums, written 2 novels, and has also presented television programmes and represented Great Britain at fencing. Ladies and gentlemen, an aviator, a rock god, an all-round superhero, Mr. Bruce Dickinson.
Well, this is one of those aviation allergies, the 3 Ps or 4 Ps, prior planning prevents piss poor performance. So when I arrived here, I wrote my speech on the back of my name card here whilst we've been speaking. However, I do have an amazing announcement today. That Marks and Spencer's is going to be directly supporting, we hope, Vulcan 558 to the sky. It's always nice when you get to opportunities like this because you can doorstep the chairman and stitch him up. And I said just moments ago, I said, while you're at it, I said, why didn't you do a Vulcan sandwich? I said, what do you mean? I said, well, the sandwich box is shaped rather like a delta wing platform. So you put the Vulcan on the top, you put the schematic of it on the underneath, it's educational, it's nutritional, and it has the payload on the side. I said, what do you need? 5 pence goes to keep the Vulcan in the sky.
Thank you very much indeed for allowing us to be here. The last time I've only ever been to the Marks & Spencer's HQ twice in my life. This is the second. The first time was under rather different circumstances. It was about a month ago, and I was still involved, rather strangely, in a TV show called Dancing on Ice, which I did bloody awfully at, I have to be honest, but there we go, gave it a go. And I was here wearing Marks & Spencer's underwear, having pictures taken in the basement downstairs with Jason Gardner, one of the other judges on the show, trying to raise publicity for prostate cancer, which we are both involved in, so it couldn't be more different being here tonight. Thank God you've all got clothes on as well, because that was a very... Mind you, the night is still young, let's be honest. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, it could include a flight in one of the most famous aircraft of all time, the Spitfire. So who will start this incredible opportunity at £1,000? £1,000, we go for £2,000, £3,000, thank you. For £3,000 for a visit, of course, to the company. It may include a flight. We're at £3,000 at the moment. Actually, I'll stick my hand and go £3,500 because I would love that opportunity. Thank you very much indeed. £6,000 from the helicopter tables. We're playing one off against each other. £6,000, £7,500. Name the Polaris missile after your mother-in-law. Here we go. I bet you loved it. Oh, come up to Duxford, I've got such a surprise for you. I love this. A submarine-launched, two-stage, solid-fuel, nuclear-armed ballistic missile known as your mother-in-law. Here we go. Oh, start me with £1,000. £1,000 for the mother-in-law. £1,000. You want to call it Iron Maiden? Right, okay, £1,000 for Iron Maiden. I like that. That sounds quite violent, though, doesn't it? Well, it is really quite violent. £1,000. But with that smart haircut, I can't take you seriously. £1,000 so far. It's going to be called the Iron Maiden, unless, of course, that's a name for a mother-in-law in itself, isn't it? Unless anyone has a better idea, will give me £1,500 to rename it. At the moment, she's called the Iron Maiden. Russians would have been scared of that one in the car. Right, Iron Maiden is at the moment going for £1,000 in this room. £1,000. Is she going to be called the Iron Maiden? Going once, going twice. There is now a Polaris missile called Iron Maiden. That's
in the business field, Marks & Spencer's, purveyors of fine food, would we have guessed the biggest bid was for a lunch in the 2K for 4 people with a very doubtful transport structure involved.
Of £8,000.
Unbelievably, the bid for a lunch for 4 people in the 2K was £8,000. Using my aircraft, I could have probably ferried about 3,000 people across for that sort of money.
Doors closing.
It's doing it whether you push a button or not.
I did that for ground.
Yeah. As you know what for?
Well, I don't, but that was the only one that seemed to impress.
It's the strangest flying machine I've ever been in.